Hey Kipsters, it's Mr. B. I am coming to you with a model on how to look for point of view, which is a perspective. Someone's perspective is how you see something, right? And, sorry, Mr. B's going to take this real quick. It's perspective or how you see something. Or it's how you see or how you think of something, sorry. Or someone. So I want to show you how to look for point of view, but also how it can affect the way someone talks about something, right? So today we're going to be reading about Shem Suggs, who is actually, I'll wait to tell you that. Remember we're talking about people with different perspectives. This is a book that's composed of different people with different perspectives, right? So they have different views about war, about the Civil War, actually, and then just different things in general. So we're going to try to figure out more about Shem, right? Who he is, what he thinks, right? So we're going to do that really quickly. So, horses have always served me for kin. So kin is family, right? He's saying horses have always served me for kin. This just means have always been. Like, he's saying they've always been family to him, right? So my first inference, he likes horses and thinks of them as family. I want to think about why he does that, right? Why would he start off with horses and why would he do that, right? So I'm thinking about that for a sec. So the first thing that I want to do is what does this tell me about him, right? Well, my first inference is that he likes horses, right? He thinks of them as family, so that's the biggest one. He says the first time one looked back into my eyes, I knew that I was no longer alone on this earth, orphan or no. He's saying that when he first looked into these eyes, he felt like he was never alone. Hashtag horses are his friends, and he isn't alone. Right? I'm going to also infer that he has a connection with horses. Right? He says that even if he was an orphan, he still knew that he would never be alone because of the horses, right? He says the folks I live with kept mules. These are just donkeys. Just a different word for donkey. Their horses trusted me straight away as if they knew me from before. Again, we see that the horses, we want to think, the next thing after we think about who he is, what he talks about, is what descriptive words can we find? What feeling words can we find? So he says that they trusted him. That's if you can trust someone, right? That's a really good feeling. As if they'd known him from before. He says he didn't feel like he was alone. So we know that he feels, or hashtag trusts them, and they trust him, right? And then he says, it says they trusted him straight away as if they'd known him from before, right? So maybe he's really easygoing, really, really friendly. He says, I'd feed them, I'd wash them and brush them, and we'd talk. This, guys, is a contraction. It is short for them, right? You see how if you split it up, you can use this, them. I'd feed them, wash them, brush them, we'd talk. An hour after arriving, they'd come to me sooner than their owners. Right here he says they'd come to me sooner than to their owners, meaning they go to him first. Then I ask myself why. Well, he talks about how they trusted him, right? So that's probably a really good inference. So he says, I felt family among I felt among family with them, and forlorn was a ghost when they'd gone. I felt among family with them. So when he's with them, he feels like they're family, right? He's not alone. And forlorn means lonely. As a ghost, that's a simile, when they'd gone. So when they leave, he feels lonely and sad. And then when he's with him, he feels like he's family. So not alone. I was born again Mr. B's when a traveler told us about Fort Sumter. He left us a newspaper from Virginia. I was 19 and couldn't read a lick. Couldn't read a lick is a metaphor. You can't read a lick, right? But he's talking about how he can't read anything. He is actually illiterate, which means he can't read. But I spotted a picture of a horse. He can see a horse and knows what a horse is, right? I asked Mr. B to read the words below. They called men to join the cavalry. The cavalry is the army, right? Mr. B hated. That's a really strong feeling word. Hated. To hate someone is really strong, right? Yankees. Yankees are just Union soldiers. So one of my inferences, I'm going to make it's a big one, is that he's from the South. He's a Southerner or Confederate, right? He says, Mr. B hated Yankees the way a broom hates dirt. This is another metaphor, right? Brooms don't hate dirt. They don't like them. It's a very good, vivid, strong piece of imagery. He started in, again, on Lincoln and the sovereign states and the constitutional, right to secede. So he believes that they have a right to secede, right to pull away, right? To secede is to pull away or leave, right? I just nodded my head like a wooden puppet, thinking about the newspaper instead. It said they'd give me a horse. So we can tell that Shem does not care. I'm going to put Shem only cares about horses, right? He's like, I don't even care about what he's saying. He's like, I just nodded my head like a puppet. And then I was thinking about the newspaper instead. It said they'd give me a horse. He says, he's thinking about the horse instead. So based off of this, I want to think about what his perspective is. What does he think? We know it's mostly talking about horses, right? So how does he feel about horses, I wonder? Well, my inference here is that he likes horses. He prefers horses, right? His perspective, this is my hashtag, but Shem only cares about horses, right? So part of his point of view, horses are his family and his friends, right? And then I want to think about how because of that opinion, because of that perspective, right? He thinks horses are his family, horses are his friends. How does it affect how he describes them? Well, we know that he describes them in a positive way. He also says he trusts them. They trust him. Right? So this is his perspective. Horses are his family, horses are his friends. And this is how it affects it in a positive way, right? Because he talks about them in such a positive way. So think about that. And Mr. B will explain more in just a sec, okay? But that's the model. See you guys. Take care. Bye.